Hey everybody, so I'm celebrating a year sober from my alcohol addiction. Sadly, a year ago this time I was taken to hospital by an ambulance because I was close to death. I was really a wreck. They kept me there for nearly 3 days just to scan my head to toe. I'd really wrecked myself, and the good news is a year later I'm still clean. I'm loving life. I've got new hobbies like cooking. I cook like crazy. I've never used to cook in my life really. I used to make simple meals or buy takeaways or TV dinners. And yeah, life is amazing. I take videography, so I do videos and I stitch them together with music. I've started creating AI art, AI music. I create GPTs in AI, so storybooks for kids, so kids can go through these beautiful, endless, limitless stories, beautiful imagery, different characters. I made 50 explorations of different countries for adults, so you can go and explore the different countries and see their cultures and scenery, and it's like you actually there. The first one I made was for South Africa because I was missing it. Yeah, life is just so good. Work is great. I'm loving living in the Netherlands. All my relationships are better than they've ever been. And I myself am like a completely new person. I mean, God didn't just fix me from my physical addiction, but my mindset is different. My heart is different. I don't have low self-esteem anymore. I love life. I cannot squeeze enough time out of the day to have all the fun I'm trying to have and all the things I'm trying to achieve. I've never been so productive, yet so relaxed and enjoy everything so much. It's just absolutely phenomenal. So anybody out there struggling, know that there is hope. Just go through it. Be positive about yourself. You know what they say, you're worth it, so go for it. And yeah, I just wanted to share that with you. And thinking of Passover, I decided to spend a day and a half creating images around Passover so I could put together a video. Took me a day and a half because it's not easy to create so many images. I've made nearly 200 images. Yeah, and I hope you like the video. First time I've actually created a video from scratch, where I created every single image based on the story of the New Testament, where Jesus was celebrating Passover, and then it led through to him being arrested and finally sent to be persecuted and crucified. So enjoy. Leave some comments if you like the video. I'm going to make more around the kids videos as well. If you follow my channels, you'll see all the kids stuff. It's really cool. I'm sure your kids will love it if you've got little ones. And have a good day.
Now on the first day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the disciples came to Jesus and said, "Where do you want us to prepare for you to eat the Passover?" He said, "Go into the city to a certain man and tell him, 'The teacher says, my time is near. I will observe the Passover with my disciples at your house.' So the disciples did as Jesus had instructed them, and they prepared the Passover. When it was evening, he took his place at the table with the 12. And while they were eating, he said, 'I tell you the truth, one of you will betray me.' They became greatly distressed, and each one began to say to him, 'Surely not I, Lord.' He answered, 'The one who has dipped his hand into the bowl with me will betray me. The Son of Man will go as it is written about him, but woe to that man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It would be better for him if he had never been born.' Then Judas, the one who would betray him, said, 'Surely not I, Rabbi.' Jesus replied, 'You have said it yourself.' While they were eating, Jesus took bread, and after giving thanks, he broke it, gave it to his disciples, and said, 'Take, eat. This is my body.' And after taking the cup and giving thanks, he gave it to them, saying, 'Drink from it, all of you. For this is my blood, the blood of the covenant, that is poured out for many for the forgiveness of sins. I tell you, from now on I will not drink of this fruit of the vine until that day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom.' After singing a hymn, they went out to the Mount of Olives. Then Jesus said to them, "This night you will all fall away because of me, for it is written, I will strike the shepherd and the sheep of the flock will be scattered. But after I am raised, I will go ahead of you into Galilee." Peter said to him, "If they all fall away because of you, I will never fall away." Jesus said to him, "I tell you the truth, on this night, before the rooster crows, you will deny me 3 times. Peter said to him, "Even if I must die with you, I will never deny you." All the disciples said the same thing. Then Jesus went with them to a place called Gethsemane, and he said to the disciples, "Sit here while I go over there and pray." He took with him Peter and the 2 sons of Zebedee, and became anguished and distressed. Then he said to them, "My soul is deeply grieved, even to the point of death. Remain here and stay awake with me." Going a little farther, he threw himself to the ground and prayed, "My Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me. Yet not what I will, but what you will." Then he came to the disciples and found them sleeping. He said to Peter, "So, could you not stay awake with me for 1 hour? Stay awake and pray that you will not fall into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak." He went away a second time and prayed, "My Father, if this cup cannot be taken away unless I drink it, your will must be done." He came again and found them sleeping. Their eyes were heavy. So leaving them again, he went away and prayed for the 3rd time, saying the same thing once more. Then he came to the disciples and said to them, "Are you still sleeping and resting? Look, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. Get up, let us go. Look, my betrayer is approaching." While he was still speaking, Judas, one of the 12, arrived. With him was a large crowd armed with swords and clubs, sent from the chief priests and elders of the people. Now the betrayer had given them a sign, saying, "The one I kiss is the man. Arrest him." Immediately he went up to Jesus and said, "Greetings, Rabbi," and kissed him. Jesus said to him, "Friend, do what you're here to do." Then they came and took hold of Jesus and arrested him. But one of those with Jesus grabbed his sword, drew it, and struck the high priest's servant, cutting off his ear. Then Jesus said to him, "Put your sword back in its place, for all who take up the sword will die by the sword. Or do you think that I cannot call on my Father, and that he would send me more than 12 legions of angels right now? How then would the scriptures that say it must happen this way be fulfilled?" At that moment Jesus said to the crowd, "Have you come out with swords and clubs to arrest me like you would an outlaw? Day after day I sat teaching in the temple courts, yet you did not arrest me. But this has happened so that the scriptures of the prophets would be fulfilled." Then all the disciples left him and fled. Now the ones who had arrested Jesus led him to Caiaphas, the high priest, where the experts in the law and the elders were assembled. But Peter was following him from a distance, all the way to the high priest's courtyard. After going in, he sat with the guards to see the outcome. The chief priests and the whole Sanhedrin were trying to find false testimony against Jesus so that they could put him to death. But they did not find anything, though many false witnesses came forward. Finally, 2 came forward and declared, "This man said, 'I am able to destroy the temple of God and rebuild it in 3 days.'" So the high priest stood up and said to him, "Have you no answer? What is this that they are testifying against you?" But Jesus was silent. The high priest said to him, "I charge you under oath by the living God. Tell us if you are the Christ, the Son of God." Jesus said to him, "You have said it yourself. Nevertheless, I tell you, from now on you will see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of the power, and coming on the clouds of heaven." Then the high priest tore his clothes and declared, "He has blasphemed. Why do we still need witnesses? Now you have heard the blasphemy. What is your verdict?" They answered, "He is guilty and deserves death." And they spat in his face and struck him with their fists. And some slapped him, saying, "Prophesy for us, you Christ. Who hit you?" While Peter was sitting outside in the courtyard, a servant girl came to him and said, "You also were with Jesus the Galilean." he denied it in front of them all. I don't know what you're talking about. When he went out to the gateway, another slave girl saw him and said to those who were there, "This man was with Jesus the Nazarene." He denied it again with an oath. "I do not know the man." After a little while, those standing there came up to Peter and said, "You really are one of them too. Even your accent gives you away." At that he began to curse, and he swore with an oath, "I do not know the man." At that moment a rooster crowed. Then Peter remembered what Jesus had said. "Before the rooster crows, you will deny me 3 times." And he went outside and wept bitterly. When it was early in the morning, all the chief priests and the elders of the people plotted against Jesus to execute him. They tied him up, led him away, and handed him over to Pilate the governor. Now when Judas, who had betrayed him, saw that Jesus had been condemned, he regretted what he had done and returned the 30 silver coins to the chief priests and the elders, saying, "I have sinned by betraying innocent blood." But they said, "What is that to us? You take care of it yourself." So Judas threw the silver coins into the temple and left. Then he went out and hanged himself. The chief priest took the silver coins and said, "It is not lawful to put this into the temple treasury, since it is blood money." After consulting together, they bought the potter's field with it, as a burial place for foreigners. For this reason, that field has been called the Field of Blood to this day. Then what was spoken by Jeremiah the prophet was fulfilled. They took the 30 silver coins, the price of the one whose price had been set by some of the Israelites, and they gave them for the potter's field as the Lord commanded me. Then Jesus stood before the governor, and the governor asked him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" Jesus said, "You say so." But when he was accused by the chief priests and the elders, he did not respond. Then Pilate said to him, "Don't you hear how many charges they are bringing against you?" But he did not answer even one accusation, so that the governor was quite amazed. During the feast, the governor was accustomed to release one prisoner to the crowd, whomever they wanted. At that time, they had in custody a notorious prisoner named Jesus Barabbas. So after the crowd had gathered, Pilate asked them, "Whom do you want me to release for you, Jesus Barabbas or Jesus who is called the Christ?" For he knew that they had handed him over because of envy. As he was sitting on the judgment seat, his wife sent him a message saying, "Have nothing to do with that innocent man, for today I have suffered greatly in a dream because of him." But the chief priests and the elders persuaded the crowds to ask for Barabbas and to have Jesus killed. The governor asked them, "Which of the two do you want me to release for you?" And they said, "Barabbas." Pilate said to them, "And what should I do with Jesus who is called the Christ?" They all said, "Crucify him." He asked, "Why? What wrong has he done?" But they shouted more insistently, "Crucify him." When Pilate saw that he could do nothing, but rather that a riot was starting, he took some water, washed his hands before the crowd and said, "I am innocent of this man's blood. You take care of it yourselves." In response, all the people said, "Let his blood be on us and on our children." And he released Barabbas for them. But after having Jesus flogged, he handed him over to be crucified.